Welcome back.
Maybe the way we saw... No, maybe the one we saw when we were researching. No, just searching.
Searching out the Herba Mysticas down there. Came from down here. We just killed a fucking creature. Whoa.
Yeah.
You two got to meet one of these Pokemon before our crater get-together? Jealous! If we got things like literal ancient time roaming around Paldea, that's a major problem. Isn't Professor Sonia gonna do something to keep them under control? How could she just let this happen?
I mean, it's only like an invasive species joining. What's the worst that can happen?
Right. Because it's not like the oh-so-brilliant Professor Sada ever messed up. She messed up with me.
You know what I like about invasive species, though? Because, like, you know how, like, animals, die out all the time and the species just dies because they can't adapt fast enough?
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of invasive species because the idea of that is just, like... It always makes me go, man, if only any of these animals thought, what if I just moved? What if I just moved out of this area? I could be a dominant creature.
Yeah, pretty much.
If I just moved 100 miles that way.
Pretty much. Come on, Dante, let's get into the station. So last episode, before we finished, you were talking about how you're collecting all the Pokemon in Gen 5?
Oh, yeah. It's not even so much about the Gen 5 that I want to talk about. It was more the fact that, like, I forgot how good Gen 5 was.
Oh, yeah. No,
like, I was actually, like, really taken back
game.
by how much better it is than what we've gotten in the last, like, several years.
Yeah, I mean, it is certainly up there in games. I really enjoy Gen 5.
Like, I don't... Like, my problem with Gen 5 stems mostly from its horrendous difficulty spike at the end, but 2 fixes that. 2 is just the hardest Pokemon game they made.
And it's also, in my opinion, it really does make the story, like, feel much more completed.
Yeah, agreed. It feels conclusive. There's, like, a really strong narrative. In the fact that they made a sequel to it with 2 instead of doing, like, a retrain of the game helps, actually, because it allows them to continue the narrative from where it left off.
Which, let's be honest, out of all the Pokemon games, I feel like Pokemon
5 had a narrative that was
the best narrative.
Yeah, worth actually continuing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. And we made it to Station 3. How are we all doing after all that walking and battle and whatnot? Anybody need a rest?
With me? Says Nimona.
You're feeling pretty rough, Penny. Oh no, it's not that. It's just, I've been thinking about that professor mentioned that time machine. The Pokemon in Area Zero come to our time from the past, right? What about Koraidon? Is it pretty likely that it's also one of those ancient Pokemon?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's kind of obvious.
You think you're into something, huh? It kind of gives off ancient vibes. It even sounds pasty.
Nimona,
wait a second.
Stop
I totally forgot. Hey, Averin.
Yeah.
You had Koraidon's ball, and you told us about its forms in the first place. You must know something about it, right? You still remember from way back? No wonder you're everyone's little star pupil.
Wait a minute, you still have a functioning brain? How's that possible?
Sorry, I'm pretty sure Rule 34 showed me that she doesn't have a functioning brain anymore. It's filled with certain things.
Hey man, only certain ones, alright?
I guess I have no choice then, but to tell you what I know.
There's a few people nice to Nimona.
Yeah, the main character.
Emphasis on few.
That Pokemon, Koraidon, it was found by my mom when she was working on the time machine. I believe it's best for me to take over that explanation at this point. Professor.
Yeah, stay in the back.
Koraidon, which I entrusted to Dante, was the first person to successfully retrieve from the past by the machine. Derek can read.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Seriously? Though analyzation of its genetic makeup, as well as its behavioral pattern, I come to realize that what I discovered was in fact an ancient form of Cyclozar, the Pokemon
The
that's
Pokemon
common.
that's a bike.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that makes sense. I guess they do look alike. Yeah, everybody else got these fucking stupid Pokemon, and we got this fucking, like, ancient chopper Pokemon.
We got the ancient motorcycle riding Pokemon.
Yeah, no, we get the ancient, like,
We get the cool
chopper chopper Pokemon, and everybody else got the fucking, and the one who got the Scarlet, they got the fucking speed bike Pokemon.
shit. Yeah, everyone got the sports bike. We got the fucking cruiser.
Yeah. Maybe other Pokemon come to this place from across the boundaries of time. Like, the legendary Pokemon that make no fucking sense.
Yes.
But, I was never able to bring more than 2 specimens of Koraidon. You mean there's another one around here somewhere?
Yeah, it escaped into the void. I don't know where it went. It's probably fine.
What if their family, the other one, could be somewhere in Area Zero, finally waiting to reunite with our Koraidon?
It just Demona, that's stupid.
A heartwarming family reunion.
Penny, don't encourage her.
Exactly.
That's stupid.
Imagine what thrill they'd have if they get their family back together after all this time. Family, huh? That sounds nice. Can we proceed? Please disable the walk.
Dante disables his breathing.
Pretty much. Disable the walk. Well done. Only one remains. Please continue the final research station.
Wow.
The ancient machine has yielded a triumph of Pokemon from the past. Its name is... I'll name it Koraidon. I will expecting one new life form to treasure. But what a fortune to be blessed with such a gift as well.
Wow. Who's gift now?
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. What's going on again? See, now if my boy N was here, this shit would be a changed whole, okay?
He'd just be like, I am the one from Nox.
He would talk to all these Pokemon, and then they'd all be friendly with him because he is the Pokemon Whisperer Man.
Yeah. What's another cool feature about Pokemon Black 2 is if you use communication stuff
Yeah.
with the first game, you can catch all the Pokemon that N uses in his battles.
The coolest thing in Pokemon Black and White / Black and White 2 is that if you had the game and your friend had the game, you could literally call them through the game.
Yeah.
And have a phone call through the game.
It was not great,
Through the
but
DS.
it was still
Well, it was
cool.
using the DS's amazing mics, which were
Yes.
like this big,
Chansey!
which were like, you know, the size of a...
Get back here,
a Q-tip.
Chansey! I will murder you! Oh wait, we can't,
And
because
won't let you. That's
we're in
not
dialogue.
gonna tell you. He's good. Dude,
Dude, do you remember when this thing was, like, hard to get? And you had to go through, like, a fucking ancient challenge to get to it?
You said this before, and my answer is still the same. No.
So in Pokemon White and Black, you
Yeah,
have to go through
the
fucking,
tower
like...
to do it.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's not.
it's not really
It's
that
not hard at all. It's very easy. But you don't need to do any of that. You can just catch it in Gen 6.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Or you could just catch it in Black and White, too, where it's actually much easier to catch.
Also true. What I find funny is I was like, the larva form, I was like, how do I get this in Gen 1? I mean, in Black and White. And then it was just like...
You have to breed it.
Yeah, I was like, you have to breed it. Also, this random NPC will just give it to you as an egg for no reason. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just do that then. I'm like, well, that's just, okay, that works for me.
It's significantly easier.
Yeah, I'm like, that's nice and simple.
Which I think that egg is actually in Black and White, too, but I'm not sure.
All I know is that it's in Black and White, because that's the one I'm playing currently. So, I know it's in that one.
It's Ringtail. Or Screamtail, I can't remember what it's called.
It's just standing there.
Menacingly.
Get out of there, SpongeBob.
Quick, throw a quick ball at it.
You know it's the balloon Pokemon because it's lighter than air? Which makes me question how it goes onto the ground at all.
Yes. Screamtail. The Fairy Dark Pokemon.
Whoa. Fairy and Dark?
Oh,
type?
Fairy Psychic, sorry.
Oh.
It's still not a bad typing.
Ooh, yeah.
It's not great.
It's not a bad typing. Yeah, I know. Gardevoir exists.
Yeah. Unguardable.
Gardevoir is...
Busted?
Honestly, there's an argument that it was better off just being psychic typing, but making your fairy also makes it a dragon destroyer now.
Oh
so
yeah,
it's
no,
like,
it's
it
disgusting.
Works.
Just works, you know?
Yeah, it's like it just works. Hey, the tentacle rape monster.
Which one?
That one. The one that just poofed into existence. This really is just Made in Abyss. I swear to God, they watched Made in Abyss, and they were just like, we can do that.
Oh, we can do that. I think you're right.
Because it's also traumatic and involves a bunch of children going to the bottom of a thing to find their mother. Like, I'm just saying. Like, this feels like they just stole that narrative for this game.
Oh my gosh. Look at that huge, gorgeous crystal. They're all the way in the bottom.
Bottom. I think I might do that as like a joke for a couple of videos. Is like, I want to make some videos that are just like, these games are just these animes. Because there's so many games that we've played that I'm just like, wait, this is just Naruto. Like, this is just Naruto, but in Kingdom Hearts. And like, this is just Made in Abyss, but in Pokemon.
One slip and we'll kiss our short lives goodbye. Well, we probably should slip. Good call. Watch your step. So the professor's down there somewhere, waiting for us. Menacingly. Yes, that's fine. Totally fine.
It's not too late to just jump
Alright,
off the
team.
cliff.
Watch yourself. Let's get to the bottom of this thing. This place looks unreal. Maybe there's treasure down there for like the stories they say. Yeah, this place is like a whole other world. Maybe you feel like you've already died and went somewhere. Is it just me, or do these crystals give off the same glow as when Pokemon terrestrialize? There must be some sort of connection.
Oh my God, Penny's learning.
Only one way to find out. Come on, everybody, let's get moving.
So I'd like to point out that we brought the champion here to like help us with battle, and she has yet to do a single battle.
She did the first battle with us.
She did the first one? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been literally everyone else. Oh, finally. A game that lets me kill myself.
You hurry back to the others so you don't get separated.
I like that the game...
Better disable the locks inside the research station.
I like that the game, like, gives an animation for, like, whoa, you almost fell off the cliff, and then you can still just jank your way off the cliff anyways.
Yep.
Man, these games sure are made.
It's Dunsparce. It's Dunsparce.
Yeah, but it's only a 2-body.
Yeah.
Garbage.
It's Dunsparce. Dunsparce.
Dunsparce. Dunsparce is my favorite Pokemon from Gen 2 because it embodies everything wrong with Pokemon design in Gen 2.
I legit forget it's a Gen 2 Pokemon. Mostly because I just forget the Pokemon exists.
Yes. That's most of Gen 2.
When I heard that they literally were making this this thing was getting an evolution, I went, really?
Took you long enough. My favorite.
And then people were like freaking out like it was the best shit ever.
It's weird to me. Gen 2 has like so many of them, but there's so many fucking Pokemon in Gen 2 specifically that are like, we made single evolution Pokemon, but we made their stats fucking garbage, unlike usual single evolution Pokemon.
Why?
So like no one will use them. I don't know. Felt like the right thing to do.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Gen 2's new Pokemon are all like, I would argue like 10% of Gen 2's Pokemon they added were good, and 5% of those were playable. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, as much as I like the pseudo-legendary, it's not good.
No, it's not. It's like, anything that gets demolished by water is not a good pseudo.
So, and the fact that it's a rock dark type,
Yeah.
I love him. I love him so much, but...
His design is cool, but competitively he sucks.
But when you get hit with a fighting type move that you're ×4 weak to, and most people run a fighting type move to deal with a bunch of things because fighting is strong against like 5 different types.
Yep.
It's like, yep.
Afraid of the dark, Derek? Punch it.
Pretty much. Like people would literally run fighting type moves just so they could destroy Snorlax. Because Snorlax is such a competitive Pokemon.
Snorlax is arguably the best fucking Pokemon in all of Gen 1 and 2 combined. So, like, yeah, you had to run a fighting type to deal with that. And then, the only thing with 2 was, I swear to God, they were just like, the pseudo-legendary is dark, so he can deal with psychic types, which were the most oppressive Pokemon in Gen 1.
But I don't even think he really learns a psychic. He doesn't even learn a fighting type move, a dark type move.
Yeah, dark type move, yeah. It's an odd choice all around. I don't like Pyramid Head over here.
I figured you wouldn't.
Speaking of Pyramid Head, Silent Hill 2 is being remade.
I've been watching videos about different things, and one of the videos was they were talking about like the horror of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how the fog they have in Silent Hill, is one of those a different color than the other?
Yeah. Well, it might just be the lighting. I think you wanted the other one.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm not sure, because I'm like, if one of those might be a shiny, it's a slightly different color. I think it might just be the lighting.
I think it's just the lighting.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think this game is just bad.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's definitely the lighting. It's like, yeah, I think the lighting's just bad.
But they were talking about how there's the fog in Silent Hill. I think it was Silent Hill.
Yeah. Is
because they couldn't really do the render distance very well. So they did the fog as kind of a, okay, this is a way we can kind of get around it.
So in Pokemon 1... Jesus Christ. No, just in the PlayStation 1 in general, right? In PlayStation 1, it was hard to render things from far away, right? Because that takes up a lot of processing power. And the PS1 was, not very powerful, go figure, for a console released in 95.
Yeah, pretty much.
Doing 3D graphics in 95.
Yeah.
So they had to do a bunch of tricks, and different companies came up with different ways to do it. The most common way to do it, though, was just to add a bunch of fog. Because if you put a bunch of fog in, then you can't see objects loading in. Because you literally can't see them loading in.
That's very clever.
So they would use fog, was like a really common one. Silent Hill was just the first game that went, what if we used it to make it spookier?
And then they made it a game mechanic.
Yeah.
Which is actually dope as shit.
So... Silent Hill, that's why Silent Hill runs, like, surprisingly well, considering it was a game made by a bunch of, fucking people that were deemed incapable of working on good development teams. I
love that shit, because, like, how often is that the case of, like, oh, we're gonna deem you as not good to work on our real project?
Yeah.
And then, like, the project that they work on tends to actually be the one that succeeds.
So, it's funny you say that. So, giving the small backstory to Silent Hill and Team Silent is actually really funny. So, essentially, when they made Silent Hill 1, they were like... they had a team... Essentially, they had a bunch of divisions making a bunch of games at Konami. And anyone who didn't fit the mold at Konami, either they were too shit at what they were doing, didn't fit the mold very well, were problematic, or any other thing. They just threw them all into one fucking room, and went, your job is to make a fucking Resident Evil clone. Make us a Resident Evil clone. And they were like, okay. And then they left. And they didn't talk to them again for months. And they came back, and they were like, look at what we built. We're calling it Silent Hill. And they looked at it and they were just like, this is not a Resident Evil clone. The fuck is this garbage? And they were pissed. They wanted a horror action cinematic game like Resident Evil. They got Silent Hill. And they were mad as shit about it.
I find that funny.
But by that point, it was too late to cancel it. Because the game was like 80% done, and no one had checked on them in fucking 6 months.
Well, that's the parent company's fault, then.
So they just went, fuck it, we'll just put it out and see what happens.
And it sold
And it
Pretty
did
good.
amazingly well. But because Team Silent was comprised entirely of a team of misfits that didn't belong, the games, especially Silent Hill 1 and 2, especially Silent Hill 1 and 2, are literally put together with duct tape, bubblegum, and toothpicks. It is amazing that they boot. Like, it's almost astounding that they boot at all. It's really funny.
I love that shit.
Like, they do so many things. It's why there's like ports of Silent Hill 2 to PC that are like fucking horrendous, and a lot of it is because
The code is
the
just
code
so...
is so specifically designed for the PlayStation 2 that getting it to run on any other console was a fucking nightmare.
I absolutely love that. That is so stupid.
Because they didn't build Silent Hill 2 they built Silent Hill 2 to run on the PlayStation 2, which means they used every goofy bullshit they could use to get it to run consistently on 2, that when it did well and they were like, let's port it to PC and Xbox, they went, oh no. You want it to play on other things?
I'm in danger.
So the fog is completely different on Xbox, and the lighting on Xbox is completely different than on the PlayStation 2. They do not work the same, even remotely, because they literally can't. The architecture of the two consoles is so completely different that they can't render fog or lighting in the same way, and had to completely rewrite it for the Xbox version. So the game looks totally different on the
All I'm
consoles.
understanding is I'm in danger meme.
Yeah, it is really funny. It's also the reason why Silent Hill 1 has never been remade, because Silent Hill 1 is worse than Silent Hill 2, and they lost the source code to it. So they would have to completely build it from scratch, and they would never quite look or play the same way as it did originally because of how fucked up it was built.
That is hysterical, and I am so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's a riot. Silent Hill is a riot franchise. It's really funny. This one seems a little worse than the other.
Yeah, this seems a little out of... Whoa, this place is a mess. Oh, someone went berserk here. Yeah, but what? Hello, children. Whoa, Professor, you scared us. I'm sorry. Why is everything in here all busted up? I'm sorry. Hello, children.
I knew it. She's an AI.
Come again? I'm so sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Hello, hello. What the heck? Stop that! You're creeping us out. Hello, children.
They went with the Dutch angle camera and everything.
Yeah, this is very uncomfortable. Initiation. Restart. The professor must have some weird connection problem or something. It was definitely weird. At least, almost like, I don't know. If she meant it as a joke, it wasn't funny. I still got goosebumps and all.
I just imagine him going back to the school and everyone, all the children are like, your mom's a computer.
My new assistant has intelligence and technical skills to rival my own. A bit rigid at times, but I've got no serious complaints. Productivity has doubled.
Nice.
We even brought in a second Koridon via the machine, though this one is a bit aggressive. I need more people, more time. That man walked out not so long after the boy was born. I need another set of hands, but could they be trusted? And how long would it take them to understand? If only there was two of me.
Dude, the deep lore.
So, the man she refers to as walking out would be the professor from the other game.
Okay, makes sense.
So, it's heavily implied that you, family time, and the rest of your party is full of energy. It's heavily implied that his mom is the caveman Ooga Booga,
Yeah,
and his father is, Giga Chad Man.
That would make sense, actually.
That, his father and mother were the two professors, but...
That explains why, he has, two separate fucking,
hair color?
Well, it explains why he's in both games as the child of the person.
Yeah. So that's kind of
So-
what they imply.
That does work.
Which I'm like,
Um,
okay, that's kind of cool.
Let's call it here, though. We'll pick this up on the next part. We'll see you guys then. Peace.